Hi everybody, it's Benita here from Spirit Kelowna, and today I'm doing a forecast for the year, and I'm using the Publishing Goblins Oracle Dice and Mat. So what I'm going to do is turn the screen around so you can see what I'm looking at. So here's the mat, and this is a very detailed way of doing the year forecast. So I'm going to take it step by step so you can see how this works. So to the left here, we have the fate die. Now when that face shows up, that means that we have to take the dice closest to it and place it at the core. Now I've made some notes because this is a lot going on, so I'm going to take it step by step. And the first dice that we look at is the actions die, and that's the one right here. That face is haste, and it's about needing to move on something very quickly, having a small window of time. And the face next to it here is lead, and lead can be something that's very difficult, very dangerous, but worked with patience can evolve into something better. And this one is about order. So if we look at those and where they're coming from, it's basically saying that we need to move very quickly. We have a small window of time to create some order around that situation. And I think when we look at the pandemic, we can see, especially with something like Omicron, we may need to move very quickly on it. But this dice right here tends to be about covering things up, being a bit in denial, not wanting to look at how severe things can be. So for example, with Omicron, a lot of people are hearing it's very mild. It isn't for everybody, and it is creating a major problem in the hospitals. And we're going to see a lot more hospital overwhelm, even more than we've already seen. It's going to be quite significant, but at this point, a lot of us are just really not wanting to look at that. And this one, which is under wheel, which is about enjoyment, it's about going with the flow. So for a lot of people right now, we're here in the winter sector. It's wanting to enjoy things, not wanting to look too closely at how dramatic the situation can be. So that's where we're at with those die. And when we move up to the spring, we see here this, right here. That die is the caterpillar, and it's about nurturing, and there's no dice around it, and it's very close to woe. So this speaks to the challenges of getting resources, getting the things we need. This can be in regards to the hospital situation, supply chain. It's basically saying, make sure you've got things in reserve, make sure you've put away things for a rainy day, and take care of yourselves, your well-being as best you can, because it's going to be significantly more difficult to get the kind of care that we're used to getting in terms of medical care, supplies, things like that. So it's saying just be mindful that it's good to be stocked up on food, stocked up on any other supplies you might need because of where things are at this point. Now, when we look at these two here, the Arcana, it's all about whatever dice is next to it. It's super important. And the dice that's next to it is all about earnings. So it's saying it's really important that we look at how we earn money. So a lot of people may be reconsidering the kind of careers they have, how they make money. They may be looking at new ways of doing things. They may be changing careers entirely. And it's saying this is really important. So a lot of people who maybe have gone through the pandemic up to this point and are saying, I'm starting to feel like the job I've been doing isn't working for me anymore. I've been waiting for things to change. I've been waiting for them to get better. They haven't been. I need to do something about this. We're going to see, and we're already seeing a lot of people, for example, leaving retail, who are just saying, I don't want to be in that kind of career anymore that can be thankless, dangerous. We're seeing a lot of people making that kind of a change. Now, the anchor, which is in the core, tells you to look at the mat seasonally. So not all readings look like this. When you drop the die, depending on what shows up in the core, how the fate dice works, it can be interpreted very differently. I've actually never had the dice splay out in a line like that so much before. So that's really interesting. So when we look at that dice, it's basically saying, look at each thing seasonally. So if we look at the spring, it's again more of a need to act on things, but the lead also means if you if you bring mindset to it, if you look at things in a different way, everything that's going on can ultimately be of benefit. But right now we have our challenges. So in the spring, more challenges in terms of getting everything we need. We're probably going to see the hospitals really still peaking. And because there's such a backlog for imaging, for tests, that's going to start to catch up on us in the spring. And that's why we have the issue around getting everything we need. Now we come to the summer, and that's body. The orange one, that's about change, and the red one is about having things happen beyond our control, external change. So this can be restrictions still on board, even when we thought, oh, it's summer, maybe things will lighten up. There's still restrictions, and those restrictions might be a different type. It might be having supplies limited in the stores. You can only buy so much because there's only so much to go around. It's other things coming along that are the result of this pandemic going on for so long. And then when we come into the fall, this one is about disrepair. So when we look at disrepair, we're looking at, again, feeling the effects of the pandemic, looking at things that maybe materially aren't doing what we need them to do anymore. We may be trying to fix parts of the infrastructure that have broken down. So when we look at all of this, and we kind of look at this, for example, like a line of events, this idea that maybe we've been indulging a bit, we've just been going with the flow, we've wanted to see things better, so we've gotten into denial, but we're coming here to where no, it's urgent that we create order, we do it now because we're potentially still in a dangerous situation. When we look at, really important to look at how you earn money. Do you need to change things with that? Having stuff tucked away for a rainy day in case you can't get supplies, and there may be some more restrictions coming. So when you're looking at all of this, it's basically saying that the direction that we're going in does present a lot of challenges to us. As much as this isn't the happiest spread I've ever given you, it's very much about looking at being aware of what's coming down the pipe and preparing for it. So thinking of it this way, we're not at the end of things where the pandemic is concerned. Don't let Omicron lull you into submission and say, okay, this is almost over. This is going to be easy. We don't really have to worry too much about this. No, it's probably still going to be really intense. So it's just saying, keep in mind, there may be other variants that come about. There may be other challenges with this. So what we really want to do is take good care of our health, keep supplies on hand, make sure that you have everything you need, get a little bit more than you need. We're not talking hoarding. We're not talking panic shopping, but it's always good to have extra. It's always good to have a full cupboard, to have supplies in case you can't get things. So when you're just doing your regular shopping, if you've run out of something, buy two. Just have that extra so that when there are times where the supply chain is affected, that you've got the things that you need. Okay? And just bearing in mind that there's going to be some challenges here, but it's also how we face those challenges. So the lead one was saying, things could even get dangerous, but it's all how you work with it. If you're patient, if you're mindful, things can improve. So don't let up on taking care of, your masking, your distancing, your isolating when you need to. Take the necessary precautions. We're not out of the woods yet. And look at what can you do personally. Do you need to look at a career change? Do you need to look at other aspects of your life that you've maybe kind of pushed under the rug? What is this bringing to the surface that you really need to work on now? That's what you want to focus on. So we're looking for the next year. It definitely is going to present its challenges. It's going to bring up opportunities for growth. So think of it this way, that everything that's being thrown at us is giving us a chance to look at, how do I do this in a different way? How do I look at what I've been ignoring, what I've maybe not wanted to look at, and start to address that. Anything you've shoved under the rug, this is the year to pull it out, shake it out, and look at what needs to be what needs to be changed, what needs to be addressed. What are the things that I should have been working on that I haven't been, but now is the time to do it. On the other side of that, whatever this year brings, how it ends for you has a lot to do with what you do with it. We can bemoan the situation, or we can see it as an opportunity to develop ourselves in ways we might not have had things been peachier. So a challenging year ahead, but a year of growth for sure, if we choose to work with it that way. So that's January's forecast for the year, and I will continue to send a new forecast every month on my website, on my YouTube, on my Facebook, so that you can see what I'm doing. You can check out my site at spiritkelowna.com. I'll look forward to seeing you guys again soon. Take care. Bye for now.